Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 9 of What If Naruto Had the Rarest Bloodline. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune for a brand new episode over on Anime King and Anime King 3. If you're new, you heard me correctly. Yes, I have 3 channels, which I post on every single day. 3 what ifs a day for you guys to enjoy. This is Anime King 2. The link for Anime King and Anime King 3 will be down in the description for you guys to enjoy. Remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click those red subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications stay posted so you can see exactly when I post for you guys to enjoy, guys. So yeah, without further ado, let's get this show started. Begin the intro. So the last part we left off, Kushina liked living with Naruto, but she was rather upset about something. She thought that she and Naruto would be sharing a room, and Sawaki would be sleeping by herself. But it seems like Sawaki and her crush sleep together, and she get her own room. Well, at least she get to design it however she wanted. And she was left with a babysitter. After all, she was still young. As both Naruto and Sawaki had headed out. Meanwhile, at Konoha, as Jiraiya was talking to Minato, Minato had 2 goals. He wanted to kill his father that Jiraiya told him was Naruto, yes, of the hidden darkness, and free Konoha and all the things that Naruto has done. And also he wants to become Hokage. Jiraiya knew that he had failed back then when he allowed Orochimaru to take Naruto and his little apprentice. But this time, he will not fail. At Darkness, winter was coming. Whenever winter came, the place became rather extremely cold. It was a phenomenon, as it became mellowed out at the end, when it passed through darkness, but darkness was ever extremely cold, to the point where the residents had to stay inside, so things were going to be a bit hectic for the winter. But they would prevail as they always did. As Naruto was working on telephones, backup generators, yes, they would prevail. As Naruto and Sawaki made their way, when they were alerted, a few moments earlier at Taki, as the leader had sent Kakazu to go and kill Naruto. Kakazu, he was only in it for the money. So to hear that he would get a nice sum, well, he wanted that. He failed the last time when he took on Hoshirama Senju, and the man barely toyed with him, forcing him to flee with his life in tow. After all, he was the only one that pushed him to his limit so far. But he escaped, but now he was given another chance. The leader of Taki wanted to do this so that they can gain allyship with Konoha, as they were able to take out the leader of darkness. The man had these false information saying that Naruto was weaker in the morning and that he would protect the place by using his own life. Well, Naruto would do that, but Kakazu thought that he could hold people hostage and cause destruction to force Naruto to move sloppy. So he made his way there when Naruto arrived. As Naruto told him, he could not escape as all the soldiers surrounded him. Kakazu started the fight, but it was worthless, as Naruto was treating him like a child, swift Naruto's attacks as he landed several deadly blows in Kakazu's heart, bursting them on the inside. Kakazu was shocked as he dropped onto the ground, as Naruto placed a water serpent over his head. As he couldn't breathe, he clawed at his throat. He clawed Naruto's feet, but no matter what happened, he couldn't breathe, as he died rather quickly. A few of his people got killed by Kakazu, as Naruto wanted to make the Waterfall country know who they were messing with. So, with a few of his BLAK troops, he made his way there along with Sawaki. It was a slaughter. Shinobis were teared right to left. They didn't stand a chance as everyone was rounded up, as Naruto appointed a new leader for them. As this place was now under the siege of darkness, as he was taking half of everything they have, and none of them could really say anything because they have no manpower to go against him. as he quickly came in, invaded, and slaughtered everyone that stand against him. as he tossed the village leader head towards the new leader of the village. The people were left utterly broken after the massacre that they just saw. But Naruto did not care. He knew that this would cause some fallout, but, well, they had sent Kakazu to destroy him and his place, and they deserve what they got. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. At Konoha, Hokage's office, Danzo scoffed as the receptionist begged him to wait to not to enter. "Unhand me, woman," he said, as he pulled his hand out of her grip. "Lord Danzo, there's already a meeting going on inside. As far as I know, any meeting that go on in the Hokage's office concern me." Now, as he pushed open the door, Hiruzen looked up. "Hiruzen," said Danzo, as Hiruzen took his eyes off Jiraiya. "Ah, Danzo, I'll be with you in a minute." Danzo came in the office as he closed the door behind him, as he took a seat next to Jiraiya. "I meant you are the one that summoned me here, Hiruzen," said Danzo. "I was busy with my duties." "Of course," Hiruzen said, as he returned his attention to Jiraiya. "You were saying," he said. "It's only a matter of time before darkness finds out about him, Hiruzen sensei. Maybe they're already mobilizing their man to come and kidnap him. All I ask is that he's given 24-hour security hidden. Of course, unless he's with me. We cannot allow them to take this chance from us." "I am still yet to believe that the lookalike is worth the trouble," Hiruzen said. "He's a prodigy, sensei," said Jiraiya. "You've said that already," said Hiruzen. "The Kurama, they could have relayed his existence to their master already. We might already have a mole in our midst," Jiraiya said. Danzo did not break character, as he just remained quiet. "He has the drive, sensei, to kill the ghosts." "We all do," Danzo interrupted. "Every single one of us desire the ghost to be dead." "You have to believe me, sensei," Jiraiya continued, like Danzo did not spoke. "This kid could be the strongest, most fastest Kage in all history. He can even be faster than Lord Tobirama, and I can't always be around to teach and protect him. All I ask is that we all look after him." "Listen to me, Jiraiya," Hiruzen said, in a strong voice. "I will not spare any of our ninjas look after a look-alike until you give us proof that he's worth our time." But I showed you the result of his IQ test," said Jiraiya as he pushed the papers forward, showing the above 250 result of the Namikaze. This paper placed him above the capability of a Chunin Nara. He passed the entrance exam with flying colors. Orochimaru marked it himself. Hiruzen hummed. "You said you want to teach him Funjutsu, correct?" "Yes," Jiraiya said. "Okay then. Make him reach level 4 by the next year." "That's impossible," Jiraiya said. "You said that he's a prodigy, is he not?" "Make him reach level 4 by the end of the year, and I will dispatch my ninjas to watch over him while he sleeps. That means I'll have to protect him myself. But I have to go on missions. My spy network." "Well then, I guess you have to juggle both of them," Hiruzen said. Jiraiya narrowed his eyes. If damn Orochimaru had came to him with this, then he wouldn't even wait till Orochimaru finished to give him what he wanted. "Fine," Jiraiya said as he stood to his feet. "Take these with you," said Hiruzen, as he looked down towards his scattered IQ results. Jiraiya collected his things as he stomped to the door, leaving, giving the older ninja their privacy. "Who was he referring to, Hiruzen?" asked Danzo. As Hiruzen eye twitched Danzo, calling him by his name and not his well-earned title. "Minato Namikaze." "How have I never heard of him if he's supposed to be a prodigy?" asked Danzo. "The brat spends most of his time holed up in the library or somewhere on the mountain. No one sees him that much. But that didn't stop people from hating him when they do see him. I'm surprised you don't know about him, Danzo." "I've been busy," said Danzo, as he has been sending back reports and information back to Naruto. Everything about Root and the village. He hasn't been out of the Root HQ for a long while now. Days. And he didn't see Minato existence as something important. "Apparently you have been busy," Hiruzen said. "Why am I here, Hiruzen?" asked Danzo. "I want you to shut down Root." Danzo did not change his expression. "Now," Hiruzen said. "How did you find out?" Danzo asked. "I've known all along, old friend. I just decided to keep quiet about it. But your actions are becoming dangerous. With how darkness is becoming a threat, we need to prioritize them over other immediate dangers from the angry nations. Your operation is becoming too large, and you've involved orphans, Danzo. Orphans! You speak like you care about them," Danzo fired back. "I gave them a proper home and a goal to reach forward to." "They are children," Hiruzen said. "I should be saying that to you, old friend. Look at the state of the orphanage and then come back to me," for sympathy. Danzo hissed with his eyes narrowed. You don't understand. I am their hope when you let them down. I am their purpose when you gave them none. As he stood up from his seat, Hiruzen, eyes could not be seen, as he lowered his head a bit. Protecting the leaf is all I care about. I can't expect you to understand. Shut it down, Danzo. Or I will, Hiruzen said. Danzo narrowed his eye at Hiruzen, as he felt like he hit hard in that last statement, so he prodded. You will never understand, caring for the great tree like I do. Take it all down. I will not repeat myself. Fine, said Danzo, as he sent the walk out and left. Hiruzen spent the next hour staring into space, puffing on a cigarette, while on his way out of the tower, Danzo smiled to himself. Of course he was gonna shut down Root. His mind then went towards Minato Namikaze, and what he was gonna do with that boy. Time skip. Dark Country Port. Tomorrow will be our last voyage out of the country. It is to drop off some shipment of tobacco to Uzu, and bring back logs of wood. Routine stuff, said the foreman. Routine stuff, Naruto asked, as he flicked his eyes up from the shipment estimates that already had been placed into the bank. The man nodded. Routine stuff. It is by far the easiest and quickest job we have here, sir. It won't take us more than 8 hours. 3 hours to go, 2 hours to log off the stuff and load it up, and 3 hours to return. We only need 3 ships to do that. You can rest assured, my lord, that we will be back before tomorrow. Good, said Naruto, as he passed the book back to the foreman. By tomorrow I want all ships docked and accounted for. Report your return to the bank, so Director Amara can properly secure the boats before the snowstorm. Of course, boss, the man said, as they split apart. Later that day, at the Dark Country retirement home. Please, sir, you don't have a stand, said Naruto, as he took a seat next to the 115-year-old man who wanted to stand and salute his leader. As Naruto smiled, the rather old man squinted hard to get a good look at Naruto's face. How have you been? Well, the man coughed as he wiped his bottom lip with his hand. It's getting cold. But I'm doing fine, he said. I'm glad to hear that, said Naruto. My grandnephew just left a few minutes ago. You just miss him. Don't worry about him, said Naruto. I'm here to see you. As he patted the back of the man's hand, saying to the other elders in the retirement home, I'm here to see all of you, to make sure this winter won't be too hard, you know? Isn't he a sweetheart? A woman in her late 90s, sitting at another table, cool with a smile. Easy there, Ren, another old lady said. He already has a sweetheart. I know, the first woman said. Don't they look cute? Yeah, I just want to squish your cute little cheeks, another lady said with a wide grin. The old man burst out into laugh. A lot of them. You know, I'll have you know that Sue is the only one that is bringing cute to the table, said Naruto, as they started to laugh even more. Even the man that was 115 laughed, as Naruto motioned to his half-masked face and said, nothing about this is cute. A 8-year-old man held on to Suwaki's hand, who was blushing at the compliments about them being cute together. Oh, look at her. She's all right, he said, as she decided to play along as she placed her free hand to her cheek, trying to hide her face. See, said Naruto. Isn't that adorable, he said. But you two are so skinny, a 90-year-old man shouted. He was a heavy-set civilian from the Panta Senshi clan. Stay a while, so we can fatten you up. Yes, stay. A large section of the room cheered. They were awfully energetic for old people. My great-grandson's gonna have a barbecue to celebrate the new year soon. You can come and eat some fattening food. Another Panther clan member shouted. Well, I'll definitely go, said Naruto. As he stood up, some of them groaned. Don't worry, I'll find time to visit again, he said. This is the most fun I have in months, kid. These old farts doesn't know how to liven things up. A Gato man said. Hey, who are you calling old fart, you old fart? A woman from the Ink clan said. You're older than most of us. As Naruto held on to Suwaki's hand and snuck out, as the elders threw light-hearted jabs towards her age, as Naruto quietly clicked the door closed, as he exhaled in relief. One of the attendants approached him with a happy smile. They're only glad that you came to see them, Lord Naruto. Oh no, I would be worried if they didn't joke around, said Naruto, waving off the apology. As he looked at the male attendant with a smile, the man was in the blue uniform of the retirement house, as he had on glasses. His brown hair was smoothed back down, and he had grey eyes. There was a gash across his throat, and a dark burn mark on his forehead. He was a former rebel leader. I apologize for not coming more, Muzan. I've been occupied with... Sir, you don't have to apologize, the man said. I know how hard it is to lead. And I can't blame you for being busy. I'm real just glad that this country is in better shape under you than I could ever accomplish. Come on, don't say that. You did what you can do in the war. You saved so many people, and you gave our people hope when there was none. You're a hero. As Naruto hand flicked up and formed the Dark Country hand sign, Chrono. The man copied the hand sign that shaky hand, feeling overwhelmed by the praise. As Naruto dropped the hand sign and gave the man a stern look. Are you happy here, Muzan? Is this what you really want to do? Naruto asked. The man dropped the hand sign. This is what I want to do, sir, he said. These people sacrifice so much for our country, their body, their sanity, and their own life. I am only giving them the honor that they deserve. By using my time to take care of them, he said. I saw firsthand what the war was doing to them, and sending them out to repel the royal clan and Konoha ninjas, and hidden stone ninjas. It was breaking them. I did what I could do to lessen the load, but these guys, they refused anyone younger than them to go to the front line. They were the elders. They wanted to handle it to spare the younger generation. They're very stubborn, he said, with a smile on his face. As Naruto got the gist of it a long time ago, when Muzan became the rebel leader, he was limited to not send ninjas under the age of 40 out. They were there to protect the civilians and aid those that want to escape the country. As the veterans, they were the ones that go out there to fight. As Naruto did not mind that they settled down in the background, as that let the younger generation step up and fight. These people were the ones that pushed on to make sure the younger generation would stay alive. As for Muzan, he wasn't from a clan, but he was born with a rather deadly bloodline, as he went through the ranks rather quickly and became the head of the rebel. Naruto patted the man's shoulder and presented his left hand. Let me know if you need anything, Muzan, he said. Muzan took Naruto's hand a slight bow, as he lowered his head humbly. You have my thanks, Lord Naruto, for everything that you've done. I should be saying that to you, said Naruto, as he released the man's hand and gave him a final nod, before walking past him. Sawaki went up to Muzan and she shook his left hand, as she gave him a small bow, before she passed him, as she went after her master as both of them left their retirement home. Time skip. By 7 in the evening, they were on the last task that they want to do for that day. Grocery shopping. Stacking up on food and clothes for the next month and a half. A small clone of Naruto was pushing the trolley. The real Naruto was in his ninja attire, not his robe. As both him and Sawaki were throwing things in the cart, him on the left and Sawaki on the right. Have you found the candles, Sensei? Asked Sawaki. Yeah. Have you seen the buckets? He asked. She scanned the aisle. Yeah, got them, she said, as she snagged 3 plastic buckets. As black smoke came from Naruto's back as he created another clone, who grabbed another trolley. Kushina is asking for sealing paper, ink, and a few quilts. Oh, and she wants to change the carpet in her bedroom. I've already put in the food juice things. I can come back here with her tomorrow for the carpet, said Sawaki as she placed in a roll of duct tape. No, I can handle it, he said. Are you sure? I'm sure, he said. Kushina and I can squeeze in carpet shopping tomorrow. We can also pick out some new furniture for her in the house. Sawaki stretched her chin. The kitchen sink does need to be changed, she said. Exactly, said Naruto, as he grabbed an iron and his student took an iron board. We can sort out what furniture we need tomorrow morning before Kushina and I head out. Alright, if you say so. She looked over her list, as she looked over the 2 carts. I got everything on my list, she said. Same here, said Naruto. The smoke clone made their way toward the cashier. The shoppers were shocked, seeing their leader and Blood doing normal shopping. Lord Naruto, sir, the man said a bow. Good evening. Evening. Ring us up, please, said Naruto. The total couldn't fit in Naruto's wallet, as he wrote a personal check, as Sawaki looked over to see if the man had really cashed it out. Usually, they didn't like to accept their leader's money, but that was just affecting the business, and Naruto didn't really like handouts. Sawaki sealed everything away in a scroll and placed them in her pockets. As she went after Naruto, is there anything else? She asked. Yeah, but I'm going alone, he said, as he placed a hand on her shoulder. Kushina might be still awake right now, and I don't want to burden Suzu more than we should. Okay, she said. I'll be waiting for you with dinner. Thank you, Su, he said. As he bent down and pressed his mask mote against her forehead, she felt a small tingle as she smiled. Time skip. Dark Country, General Hospital. As Naruto made his way as he was in the shinobi ward, as Naruto saw a woman with a broken arm. She was trying to hurdle some of the demonic horse back into the dark forest when she got hurt. He saw a Hoto man in a wheelchair. His feet were burned badly by Kakazu. As Naruto kept his attention to himself, wiping out his existence as he moved, as he stopped right in front of a door. that had a plaque on it that read Dr. Yume, medical consultant, written in bold, clear words. He lifted his right fist and paused, as he thought long and hard if he really wanted to do this. He took a breath as he knocked. He heard the muffled call from the other side of the door as he pushed open the door. A single hospital bed in the corner near the window, with a desk over to the other side. It had a blue carpet and beige walls. Behind the desk was a man, as he was in his early 30s, short, purple hair, and golden eyes, as he was in his doctor coat. As the man looked up to register the person that was looking in. "I hope I'm not too early," said Naruto, as he entered and closed the door behind him and turned back to the doctor. "Of course not, sir. I have cleared most of my appointment for today," he answered truthfully. "That's not good," said Naruto with a small frown. "There could have been someone that needed your help. Your health is my priority, and the priority of the people." "Lord Naruto," he said, "please sit," as he placed a chair down. As Naruto made his way over as he sat down, "How may I be of service, my lord?" As Yuma looked at Naruto, he was wearing the normal ninja clothing, even with a headband on his forehead. He had been pushing back this appointment and postponing the doctor appointment for years now because of his duties, and also he was afraid of what he might hear. As Tsuaki only thought he was going for a regular doctor appointment, Naruto tapped the side of his head with his index finger. "I've been having headaches. Some days. My eyes burn." Yuma, Ford crinkled. "For how long has this been happening?" he asked. "Some years now," said Naruto. Yuma raised his eyebrow, as he didn't like how Lord Naruto treated his help so flippantly. "Since after Hanzo, maybe 7-8 years ago, I think." Yuma shifted a bit. "Have you met anyone concerning the headache and eye pain?" asked Yuma. "I met Orochimaru after an old friend of mine killed Hanzo." Yuma lifted the eyebrow. "For as far as I know, the leader has done more than anyone when it comes to killing the former leader of Hidden Rain. So his real death should be attributed to Naruto and not anyone else." He put his mind back on track as Naruto went on. "But it's because of this," as he removed his mask, showing the doctor underneath, before placing it back on. Back then, Naruto still strongly hated Konoha, but he set aside his hate to find out what was going on with his body. "I didn't tell him about anything else, and I did not let him take samples. I asked if this," as he pointed at his masked face, "have anything to do with my bloodline." And he didn't know. Yuma wasn't even fazed by Naruto's face at all. "He said it might have to do with my lightning release bloodline," said Naruto with a shrug. "He wanted samples to study, but I didn't give it to him." "Where exactly in your head does it hurt?" "The back of my head," said Naruto. "And you said your eyes burn." "Some days," said Naruto. "They haven't burned for about 6 months or so. When they do, my vision gets a bit blurry." "Do you drink alcohol?" "Not for 7 years," said Naruto. "Do you smoke? Have you ever smoked?" "No, never," said Naruto. "Have you ever taken hallucinogenic, recreation, or performed enhancement drugs?" "No," said Naruto. "I wouldn't Naruto cut the man off. "I've never taken any drugs of any kind," he said. "What about medical drugs?" asked Yuma. "The only thing I can remember is taking cough syrup for a sore throat when I was learning from Orochimaru. Orochimaru simply gave it to him and left it in his own hands to use for his discretion. A bit reckless on Orochimaru's part, but he didn't really care for anyone." "Would it be fine to do if I run a test on you?" asked Yuma, as he waved to the hospital bed at the window. As Naruto looked at him, a bit of alarm in his eyes. "I thought you'd prescribe me some painkillers." "I will do no such thing, as in playing with my lord's health." "Now please, take a seat," said Yuma. Naruto shrugged as he made his way over to the bed. As Yuma picked up some gloves, he stashed them in his coat as he made his way over to Naruto. "This is merely a routine sweep of your system." As he flipped through several hand seals, "Medical ninjutsu, full body system check," he said. His hands started to glow green as he placed it right on top of Naruto's head before slowly moving his arms down. He stopped at Naruto's sides. His hands returned back to normal. He pulled out a small notepad as he wrote down something inside with a pencil. As Naruto's eyes rapidly looked at the man and tried to look in the pad. "What does that mean?" he said. Yuma ignored Naruto's almost panicked question as he removed Naruto's forehead protector and handed it to the leader. "Now, let me just do one more thing," he said, as he went through another set of hand signs, as he placed 2 fingers on Naruto's forehead and a finger at Naruto's side of his head. He hummed with a frown as he placed a hand behind Naruto's head. As he moved his hand around, the medical jutsu flipped off again and he wrote in the pad. "Is something wrong?" said Naruto. Naruto wasn't really interested in medical ninjutsu or was patient enough to learn it, but he did know first aid, and he could keep a person alive if they weren't too injured for real help to arrive. So at the moment he was completely in the dark of what was happening. Yuma, he said, describe the pain in the back of your head, Lord Naruto. Throbbing, said Naruto. I see, said Yuma. His next question then threw Naruto off. I heard from a friend that you use a unique jutsu that only belonged to you when you fought Danzo. Yes. What was the name of that jutsu? Asked Yuma. Silent Night, said Naruto. Can you tell me about it? Yuma asked. This is strictly confidential, right? Said Naruto. I swear on my life and my family's life, I will never tell another soul of this meeting or about Silent Night. As Naruto fixed the man in a long, hard look, he then told the good doctor about his ultimate ninja technique. Yuma was surprised at what he heard, as he reclined his head and nodded. Truly magnificent, my lord, he said. To be able to do something like that is rather inspiring, as it solidified his view of Naruto, who was at the top point of ninja capabilities, as Naruto could perform Silent Night better now, seeing that he was older and wiser, compared to when he was 17 and now he was 24. His ultimate technique was a lot stronger than before. I've only done it once. Do you know the risks? Yuma asked. My friends were in trouble. I couldn't care less about the risks than Naruto, before Naruto came up with the ultimate technique in theory, as he was smart enough not to play with his speed or the power of Silent Night. The power and speed that he gave him. Does it have to do with my headaches? Naruto asked. Yes. And for your face and your skin as well, said Yuma, as Naruto's eyes furrowed at that. Your face burned off. As Naruto rubbed his eyes and groaned. I thought so, he said. The good news is that Silent Night isn't killing you. Your body is in great shape and your organs are functioning properly. However, your skin cells are not healing and replicating as quickly as they should be doing. This doesn't mean that your skin is falling off or that you're gonna bruise easily. It certainly won't affect your daily activities. It's just, you'll have to be extra careful not to give yourself chakra-based injuries. From what I can detect, you have it for years, and you've done well in maintaining your skin condition. Naruto exhaled in relief. But if you use that technique again, one of three things might happen. Your brain will shut down once you deactivate Silent Night, meaning he would be basically brain dead but still much alive, or all the skin on your body will burn off. As he brought out the third finger, or you will die, he said. I haven't had a wrist used in years, said Naruto. He didn't want to seem cocky by saying this, but he was ridiculously powerful without even using Silent Night. That's good to hear, sir. As he went to the jug cabinet and received a small container of pills, as he came back to his leader and handed it to him. This should ease up the headaches. It might also help with your eye pains, but if they persist, I might have to prescribe you glasses. I have to ask you for a blood and chakra sample, so we can come up for a lasting cure for your headaches and eyes. He saw Naruto's eyes narrowed. Our laboratory is very reliable. It's not that I don't trust you or your laboratory. I only want this meeting to be kept a secret. The very last thing you wanted was for his people to worry about him and his help. They were already treating him delicately, going around and doing things for him that he could do by himself. If they discover his headache, then that pampering and care would multiply by 100. You will use an alias. No one will find out, said Yuma. He pointed towards the container. Take them one day in the morning, and if you still feel the headaches, come back here, and I'll give you something stronger. And again, if you still feel your eyes burn after taking the drugs, I'll have to give you some glasses until we find a lasting cure. I will also prefer if you came by for a checkup, for at least once a week. I understand, said Naruto. As Naruto held out his right arm, the man drew blood from his arm. As he placed his pointer and middle finger on the scroll, as he pushed his chakra into it, filling it halfway, the stored seal glowed ominously. As Naruto remembered how dangerous his lightning and water affinity was to anyone but him. My chakra is very volatile, he said. I'll be very careful, said Yuma. No one that can use Silent Night should have normal chakra in the first place. I'll keep you updated. Thanks for this, Yuma, said Naruto, as he hopped off the bed. It's an honor to help in any way I can, Yuma said a bow. My sister told me that Kushina Uzumaki is stored into her class for next year, Class 1B. Yeah, she's been pestering her mother for a while now, said Naruto. Yuma, twin sister, Yumi Nakamura, was a teacher at the Ninja Academy. She also said that Kushina has affinity for phone jutsu and kinjutsu. Like most Uzumaki said Naruto as he moved towards the door. She got potential to be a monster on the battlefield. Yuma and his sister had an older brother that was in charge of Suzu, Uzumaki, Team 20. The Nakamura siblings were a fairly, not so large establishment that moved into the country with their parents, as they own a large chain of hair salons. Yuma nodded. Let's hope so, sir, he said, as Naruto nodded back before leaving the hospital as he entered. Time skip. It was another average morning in the leader household as Naruto stepped out of his shared bedroom. As he walked out, he was dressed in grey, short-sleeved shirt with his black combat pants and black sandals. With him wearing the short-sleeved shirt, you could see the black markings running down straight towards his fingernails. It came on his body when he activated his dual bloodline limit, his lightning release and smoke release. He was also wearing the black and white flat jacket as well, with a gleaming forehead protector on his forehead, with the black clots going down into his back. He adjusted his half mask. He stepped towards Kushina's door. Kushina, he said. He didn't hear anything. Are you ready? He asked. Inside, Kushina was moving around rather quickly, as the poor girl was still in her underwear. She looked around the war zone that was her room. Her clothes was all around. Her bed was a mess. Her things were cluttered everywhere. Her wardrobe door was open, letting out everything that was inside. Some of them on hangers, some of them were folded, and some of them crumbled beyond recognition. As Naruto knocked once again, Kushina, are you okay? He said. As he tested the knob, it was locked. Kushina, he said. The girl leaped over the mountain of clothes as she ran towards the door. In a minute, she said, as Naruto heard the panic in her voice. If she was in danger, the both of them ordered a code to let him know. Be done in 5 minutes, okay? She said. Okay, he said. As he made his way downstairs, he smelled fresh bacon and coffee. Inside the room, Kushina grabbed her hair as she cursed when it all went wrong. She had everything planned out. The clothes, her shoes, her headband that she would wear to go shopping with Lord Naruto. All of them were arranged from the day before. But when she came out of the shower, she was overthinking things if they were nice and presentable for her crush. She was awake since 5 in the morning, 30 minutes before Naruto and Sawaki had gotten up. And now the both of them were downstairs about to eat breakfast, and she was in her room, not ready. She groaned in dismay as her shoulders slumped. 4 minutes later, she came down the stairs in a dark black dress, black and red, that reached her knee, with black shorts underneath, with blue sandals, a grey bandana around her neck. Her hair still looked a bit stitched but neat. As Naruto looked up and smiled brightly. Good morning, she said dully. Is something wrong? Naruto asked, as she looked down at the plate of bacon that Sawaki placed in front of her. You're not feeling well? No, I'm okay, she said. If you're sick, we can always push this for... No, she said, as she looked down quickly, placed a piece of toast in her mouth as she mumbled the words. Today, please. Don't talk with your mouth full, said Sawaki, as she returned back to the kitchen. Sorry, said Kushina. Well, today's gonna be pretty great. We got a lot of places to check out, said Naruto. Your mom said that she won't be able to come until next year. But that doesn't mean we can't have fun without her, right? But she will be here next year though to see you for the entrance ceremony. As he eyed smiled towards the girl. She wants to take a lot of pictures. Cool, she mumbled in her plate, trying to hide her excitement of how happy she felt about that. Sawaki came down and she ate 2 pieces of toast and drank her lemon tea, as she dropped her plate in the sink after she was finished. Those stone ninjas are great and braver, she said. Her red eyes flickered towards the child. She said quietly, I'm gonna kill some. As Naruto looked at her, the hidden stone ninjas hadn't done anything yet, as there was no injury, and for the moment, it was a defense corps to watch over the borders. When it became too difficult, the BLAK was called in, but for now, they haven't done anything. But still, Naruto sent a letter to Tishikage to keep his man away from his border, or they will face hell. But the man sent back Naruto letter without even a reply. Director Makoto of the Northern Corps wants my man to send a message towards Tishikage. Naruto glanced over Kushina. She was too busy scarfing down the bacon to pay attention to them. Give me Tishikage reply tomorrow, he said. That man was taking Naruto and his country for a bunch of cowards. A simple message to leave his border alone. As the man had his ninjas scouting out Naruto border, which got Naruto quite pissed. But yet the man still did it, and he did not send back a reply, as he completely disregarded Naruto's message like that. Kumo of all places kept outside their border, watched them, but they did not come across the border. The right guy gets in a response back. If darkness made the wrong move against his country, that he would trample them. It was a non-aggression agreement. His ninja won't harm the Kumo ninjas as long as they stay the hell out of their border. And as long as they didn't do anything first, everything should be cool between them. The Raikage was a very difficult man, but he knew who Naruto was. After all, Naruto had battled the Raikage once before, and the end result was the Raikage withdrawing his army and telling the Tsuchikage to withdraw as well. Well, that was a story for another day, but it seems that the stone need more than a warning letter, because Oniki was pushing his luck. Have fun, said Naruto, as Sawaki eyes beam at his approval. Alright. She planted a gentle kiss on his cheek and moved towards the door. I'll be back to do dishes. No. Just enjoy yourself, said Naruto, as he pinched her cheek with a laugh. The bashful vampire slapped away his hand with a blush as she fixed on her mask. I'm going now, she said, as Naruto noticed Kushina glare, following his student. Hey, so, he said. She turned her head back to the room. Yeah? I think Kushina wanted a kiss on the cheek as well. What? Kushina spattered her hot chocolate. Sawaki came over and kissed Kushina on the cheek. Have a fun day, she said, as Kushina turned an unrecognizable shade of red, and Naruto laughed. Time skip, as Naruto just finished telling Kushina about Kurono, as they were making their way through the capital. You know, your mother want me to take you up as my student, as her mother had personally pleaded Naruto to teach her child while she was in the academy. She had done so personally after the burial of her father, and Naruto had yet to reply. Kushina didn't need to know that her mother had begged him, as her mother knew that it was her dream, ever since she heard of Naruto, well, that or marrying him. Yes, that was one of Kushina's dreams as well. Tamaki wasn't a ninja, and her father had passed before Kushina reached the age before he could taught her. So, Tamaki didn't know anyone else that could bring out her daughter latent potential. But Naruto had to hear for it himself. But frankly, I don't think that it's worth my time, he said. Her heart dropped at that, as she looked down. You know what? She looked up hopefully. I'll throw you one question. If you get it right, I'll make you become my second student. Her eyes burned determination as she nodded. Why do you want to be my student? She replied instantly, because shh, said Naruto as he placed a finger over her mouth. As he knew of her fangirl tendencies, but he wanted to think long and hard about this. I want you to really think about this, and give me your answer by the end of the day, alright? She nodded, as they made their way. Time skip at Konoha. Somewhere in the Forbidden Forest, a set of beakers slammed into the wall loudly, as a frustrated sigh could be heard. The man and the woman that were locked inside in cages move away in fear of their kidnapper. Another failure, Orochimaru hissed, as he slammed his fist into the wall, cracking it a bit. Useless. All of you, useless, he said. Lying on the table was once a human, but his skin had changed into wood. Its arms and legs twisted and rolled up into a ball, looking like an insect that was placed in a hot pan. The laboratory wasn't that big. There was an operating table in the middle, a wall of beakers filled with different liquids, and cages with people from different, genders. The cages were also stacked on top of each other, as the people inside was very neglected. Orochimaru had to make do with this small space for now, because any more noise, anything too wide would alarm the animals, and that would alarm the rest of the village, as his prisoners were whimpering. Shut up, he said, his eyes glaring at them dangerously, as he grabbed the corpse and threw it right through the window. Nature and the animals outside would handle that. It might be because of him that the animals were getting more and more feral. The constant testing and them eating the human remains. Orochimaru has been performing these experiments since the end of the Second Shinobi War, testing them over and over, and the animals always eat the remains. They ate the chemical that he threw out without a second thought, as he closed his eyes, but the whimper did not stop. I said, shut up! As the prisoners quiet down, Orochimaru paced around the small room as he reached for a pen and scribbled on a piece of paper. Wood cell replication failed. He had an abundance of Hoshirama cells, but the cells could not replicate. Only if he placed it himself could they replicate, making himself basically immortal by changing his own cells. But the thing was, he couldn't find a way to activate them. So if he inject himself with that now, it would just stay inside him stagnant and useless. He glanced towards a vial that was on top of the burner. There was a golden liquid inside. It was very dangerously poisonous. It was Mito Uzumaki chakra. super compressed down to liquid form, not infused with the Kyuubi's tainted chakra. This was Orochimaru's masterwork. The content. First liquid chakra. No scientist has ever come up with a way to change chakra into a liquid form, and they never will, because none of them are as smart as him. He had a lab rat drink a portion of the chakra, and your throat had dissolved. Orochimaru watches it burn from the inside out, as the golden liquid, as Orochimaru force feed to him, burned through the man's stomach, ripping through his entire digestion system, until it came out of him, and it was still golden. When he had got some of Jiraiya's chakra and turned it into liquid, it was dark green with burnt orange. He forced someone else to drink it. The person took up a toad-like feature, as their hair turned white, red markings going down their face. This transformation lasted for only a minute, until the nature engine inside Jiraiya's chakra made the person turn into stone. The nature chakra could not be separated from Jiraiya's chakra. There were scrolls on the part of a shelf that held the pieces of Mito's body. He only really needed her chakra so that he could bring out the regeneration part of her chakra to give it to himself, but just in case he needed her DNA. In other scrolls was Mito's late husband DNA as well, but so far he was getting nowhere with the regeneration abilities. As Orochimaru looked at the liquid chakra, as he wondered, maybe if he watered it down it would become less potent. He wrote that down for later use. There was one strange thing though. When Hoshirama DNA was near it, it would move, going towards it like it was, well, calling out to it, like it was some living organism. Orochimaru couldn't get his hand on Hoshirama chakra. The man had died a long time ago, and you couldn't extract chakra from dead tissue. A thought came to his mind. Merge the both of them together. He smiled as he wrote it down. He had been working on creating a permanent cure for himself, and also to unlock true immortality. He has been injecting terminal cancer into his human test subjects and testing out experiments on them, but all of them died, failures, each one of them. He needs something though when combining Mito and Hoshirama's chakra. He made note to speak to the third about a mission going towards Snow Country. They would have the tools that they need to perform it. He looked around invisible, disgust on his face, at how small and pathetic this place was. While he was on the mission, he could steal as much as he wanted and find a bigger place to work in. Operating his test subjects there would be so much doable. He coughed in his fist. Another thing he was working on was transferring his brainwave, his chakra, his nature chakra into an entirely different body. This was just in case if all else failed, and he had to find a, solution to his damn sickness. Goddamn brat. Orochimaru cursed his former student. This is the thanks I get for making someone out of you. He turned and kicked the cage of a small girl inside, creating a large dent. Ungrateful little shit. He took several deep breaths. He was already troubled by the village investigators concerning him towards Mito's death. It seems that they didn't want to believe that he was with the third while Mito was being tortured and killed. But Orochimaru had been really careful. He had used the shadow clone to keep his teacher occupied while he did the deed himself, covering up every single part of his tracks. Harrison vouched for his innocence, but investigators were throwing questions at him after questions, trying to break him down, like he would ever be broken by those pathetic, useless fools. With each day, they were getting nowhere, and also, they were investigating with the kidnappings that were happening all across the village. A small portion of them were here with him, but he suspected that the other forces were Danzo, as he looked at the person that would do something like that. It was quite funny, wasn't it? Two of the cases that the Konoha Shinobi were investigated was him, and they weren't anywhere close to catching him. He reached on and opened the cage that he formerly kicked, as he pulled the girl out by her hair, as he brought out a syringe, as he injected the stomach cancer right into her neck, the needle piercing through. The girl cried out in pain. He strapped her down to the table as he smiled brightly. No better way to release stress, he thought with a smile, as he enjoyed the child's agony. Time skip. The sand form. Lord Naruto, said Kushina as she tugged on his pants leg. You can call me uncle for now, said Naruto, as they were at the crop form. The large farm spread over for a long while, with sand and Gato citizens all over. They were working together on how to grow particular crops. Similar to Torun, Naruto and Tetsuo kept in contact, so the both of them working together, and the farm was coming along nicely. Now, The whole thing with him telling Kushina to call him uncle, as Torun had declared Naruto as his brother, making Tamaki his niece, and Kushina, who was Tamaki's daughter, his grandniece. Tamaki addressed him as her brother even while Torun was alive, and Naruto just went with it, so that little Kushina wouldn't be confused. Okay, Uncle Naruto, she said. Yes, said Naruto. I have this friend in Konoha. Her name is Karen, but she said I should call her... She placed a hand over her mouth as she giggled softly. Carrot. She told me that the sand was built in a farm. I thought that she was joking. You haven't heard of a sand farm, said Naruto. As far as I know, it was big news all over the continent. People from all over want to know how the farm was being successful, built in the sand. But only dark students, teachers, the ones that delve in agriculture and the sand joint force could be here. Other people got express permission, and they were able to see the farm as well. Didn't your mother tell you about the farm, Naruto asked? Well, my mama might have said something about it. Naruto patted her head. Well, you can learn as much as you want while you're here, he said. As Naruto switched into teacher mode, telling Kushina about the farm, that darkness had 30% stake in it, even when the loan was paid back. So they have a high interest of protecting the farm. And he told her about the joint task force of the sand and darkness. Kushina bobbed her head as she took in all of this information, as they were going many places today. To most of the clans, as many shows were happening. A test of strength to the Hato clan, something a tradition that the clan went through. By the end of the day, if she remembered the question that he told her, to tell him an answer by the end of the day, then and there he would decide if he would train her or not. 7 hours later, they found themselves at the Ink Clan compound, as they were watching the show that was going on the stage with the ballet dancers, a dancing show that was taking place. As Kushina had her eyes stuck on the show in front of her, as he was a demon that came to fight them. The show was taking place while they were dancing, as she couldn't believe how they were being this creative, this swift and turn, using seals and the power over the ink to make the thing more even realistic. Meanwhile, en route, main hideout, in the Fire Country underground. He's not leaving anything for chance, huh? He also entrusts the boy to Sakamoto Hatake when he goes on mission, Lord Danzo. One of the three, blank mass envoy in front of him, said, "We are unable to approach the Hatake clan. It seems Sakamoto was not as resentful to the child as the others." "I can't allow such a child to live," Danzo said. "What do you want us to do, Master?" one of them asked. "Keep an eye on him for now, and take him down once you see your chance." The three stoic ninja knew their master didn't care if after their assassination of the 7-year-old boy that they were killed. They were his tools and he could use them as he saw fit. Time skip. As Naruto was in the hidden mists, very own home furniture and fixed appliances. It was in the dark country capital district, in the market area. As Naruto was making his way around, as him and Kushina were doing some shopping, he was snapped from his thoughts, a tap on his shoulder as he turned, trying to remember the person name. The person carrying a hook staff strapped to his back. He was in the Kiri garbs, with the headband in his forehead. He mumbled in disappointment. "It's Yagura, Lord Naruto." "Ah yes, Yagura," said Naruto. "I was just about to say that. The successor of the Mizukage throne." "You keep forgetting my name, sir," he said. "What brings you here?" Yagura said Naruto with a smile, as he didn't know why he keep on forgetting his name. "I was looking for new tiles for my kitchen. I plan on spending winter here." As Naruto wasn't about to ask what was wrong with his tiles in his own house. After all, renters couldn't change the tiles, but owners could. So that meant Yagura purchased his own house. "Are you aware that winter in the country is very harsh?" said Naruto. "I'm aware. The reason I'm spending it here is to make sure I can help in any way I can." As Naruto's eyes quirked up in an eye smile. "That's nice of you." "I don't mean to offend," the next Mizukage said. "No offense taken," said Naruto. "I'm sure your situation is handled by your other ninjas, but Mizukage-sama recommended that I came and lend my support." He bowed his head slightly. "I'm in your service, Lord Naruto." "Glad to hear that, Yagura," he said. As Kushina rubbed the carpet sample in her hands, as she was picking up the new carpet, Yagura mumbled to Naruto, "Is that the Kyuubi Jinjulke?" "Yes," said Naruto. "The beast seal, is it?" "I wouldn't risk the safety of my people if I wasn't secure in the ceiling," said Naruto. "And the people know of our status?" "Why wouldn't they?" said Naruto. "The village I've gone to is not friendly to Jinjulkes. It is why the 3-tailed turtle and the 1-tailed raccoon were not sealed to people." As Naruto knew the history of beasts running wild, and being unruly to the nation around them. It happened twice to Kumo, and once to Hidden Stone. With all due respect, said Yagura, why is here any different as you watch Kushina walk down the aisle testing the carpets? Well, for starters, everyone in our country, shinobis and civilians, has passed through the basic academy, so they know how the fundamental of seal works. Yagura nodded as he heard about that. In the rehabilitation, as everyone was given a slight academy knowledge, so they could understand and learn. The next thing is I trust Mito's seal, said Naruto. She was a Fuinjutsu master at the peak of art, Torun, and also expected to work before he passed. And last is, I have my best seal master from the Ink clan. Look over the seal every once in a while. Yagura smiled. Well, I have to hand it to you. You're very careful. When it comes to the well-being of my people and my allies, I should be no less careful, said Naruto. After all, everyone saw that Naruto was at ease, living with the holder of the most powerful steel beast. So why shouldn't they be at ease as well? Any decent leader in the same position as myself would prioritize the life of their people over everything else. As Naruto did not know it, but those words will remain in Yagura's head and change a lot in the future. Yagura glanced towards him. The Mizukage, the Kazekage, the Raikage, the past, River Daimyo. There was a lot of people in the world that respected Naruto for his strength, his power, his intellect, everything. And then there was a lot of people that feared him. The side that feared him couldn't call him by his name. They feared it too much. So they call him by his title, the Ghost. But guys, be in subs right here. If you want the next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as I posted. Stay in tune for what if Naruto was an elite blue-eye Uchiha over an anime king. And enjoy that, guys. And I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto's Betrayed by Yagura tonight. So stay tuned for that as well, guys. But I'm over now. See you guys soon. Peace.